Earthlings, welcome to Too Many Shows, a TV podcast. I am your host, Benjamin David. We are both live on our YouTube channel, B David Studios, and you can also find the pod wherever you listen to podcasts. So subscribe, follow there if you haven't. On that note, smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications for future streams of Too Many Shows. Also, any kind of super donations here on the stream or on any of our videos is much appreciated. And today we're continuing the pods and the streams with Alien Earth. At least it's the season finale, because you can tell how excited I am. If you have any sense, I hope you would agree, at least to an extent. But today I'm going to be reviewing, as I said, the season 1 finale, episode 8, titled The Real Monsters. Or are the real monsters? I know you're trying to say it's the humans. I think it's the humans who made the show are the real monster. What they've done to the Alien franchise are the real monsters. We have been going live on YouTube for Alien Earth Season 1, and again, this is the season finale, so thank God it's our last one covering A Earth. But if you do want to hear my Season 1 post-mortem episode, I'm going to be doing that, looking back on the entire season. Head on over to Patreon. That's patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. We're going to do an exclusive post-mortem audio only. And if you like this show, and if you want to support us and all the other shows on our network, again, patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. You guys get early access to podcasts, detailed episode notes for each pod, and a ton of exclusive vids and pods you can only find there. That's all just at, again, the $1 level. All right, so let's do it. My review of Alien Earth, Episode 8. IMDb credits, as always. We're going to keep these short since we've, already gotten most of or all of the cast at this point. Then we have our non-spoiler initial thoughts, and then our spoiler walkthrough. So episode 8 is titled, once again, The Real Monsters. Script is by Noah Hawley, possibly the real monster, and Magizi Pensanao. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. This one is once again directed by Dana Gonzalez, who stopped directing Dana Gonzalez, and Magizi Pensano gets some writing help, not from Noah Hawley. A new power dynamic emerges. That's the entire synopsis from IMDb. Why it emerges is the better question. Ugh, my God. It emerges like a Xenocobra chest bursting out of someone. It's that elegant. Not that we get to see any of that fun stuff in this, but we'll get to that. So non-spoiler thoughts. Again, we start off with non-spoilers and then our spoiler walkthrough. I can't believe this show is real. If I was screen sharing right now, you would see that as my entire one bullet point for someone who's a pretty wordy guy. I've gotten better with podcasts and especially going live, but that's what else can I say? It's Alien. I love this franchise. I keep saying this is why I'm here. I will keep showing up. I will even show up for season 2, which we're going to get to. I don't know why I would show up for season 2, but this is like someone was talking about last night at work. They were like, I tried this orange juice. I tasted it even though I knew it went bad. And it's like, why do people do that kind of thing? It's a sick curiosity. That's how I feel at this point. Slightly more detail. Again, we're in non-spoilers at this point. Protagonist. Biggest problem is, who the fuck am I supposed... You call this the real monsters. Is that supposed to mean I'm supposed to question who the protagonist is now at this point? Like, literally, who is the protagonist? Because we know it's not Wendy. It can't be Wendy and the kids after this. It is... They have just continued doing... Again, non-spoilers, the killing and, not surprisingly, a lot of the stuff that they did last episode, and now she's got this, team of muscle. She's got this little, wannabe mafia group of Blade Runner replicants. She is now a techno-powered Blade Runner replicant who has an alien xenomorph as a pet and can kill at will. And, again, non-spoilers, obviously, but why didn't you turn them off between the episodes? It is that simple. I'm sorry. And if it is to the point where they have clearly are committing murder, then I'm not worried about the moral idea of because at that point, obviously they're too unsafe and your experiment has failed. How are we supposed to care about these characters? I know I complained about this last episode. I can't say it enough though. That's the main problem with this. And then on top of it, and we'll get to spoilers in our walkthrough here, the other big problem is what has continuously been these logical and cringe dialogue The stuff along the way, my point, the details that are supposed to fill in, especially science fiction, the science details are nonsense trash. The characters are as dumb as they have been throughout the season. And now that we're at this conclusion, it's a horror. This is the last thing I'll say, and we'll get to spoilers. It's like such a horrible ending, and I am so pissed that it is a setup for season 2. Like, I really wanted it to be this anthology Fargo thing that Noah Hawley did, where each season is its own. While it does obviously take place all in the same universe of Fargo, even connecting to the movies indirectly, the movie, it's like, why the F would I want to sit through this, more of this island? Just get us off this island. I was really going to hope, I didn't want it, but it's like, you might as well nuke the island, because that's also the only way to not have it connect to Alien, the first one. This mysterious, no one's ever heard of the xenomorph's not a word in the Alien movie, and that's 2 years after this. You guys know all this stuff, but it's such a bad connection, and the way this ends, my point, connecting it to the Alien universe, it is such trash, and I hate what they're doing with the Alien universe. Like, by far the worst Alien I have ever seen. Like, leaps and bounds. Ugh. All right. So you guys, I like it, as you can tell. And so begins our beat-by-beat spoiler walkthrough for Episode 8, The Real Monsters. We open with our previously on Flash's mid-title treatment. More of these, alien Earth going in and out of distortion, whatever you want to call it. And for whatever reason, they did this last episode. We have these Tim Burton close-ups of the xenomorph head, like in the beginning of the 2 Tim Burton Batman movies, the first 2 Batman movies. It's like all of this, or the very first one, I'm sorry. And it's like a close-up of the logo. And you're like, what? Okay. It was anticlimactic in 1989 just to get the logo. Why did you do... as interesting as Tim Burton is, didn't pull it off with the Xeno head. I've also, as I was just shaking my head reading this next bullet point, have never shaken my head more while watching a TV show. Like, that's a note that I wrote because I was like, the hardest, most laborious podcast homework ever, though I do like doing these episodes because it feels like therapy, as I said last episode. So whatevs. Now we get a recap, as we always do with these previously on Alien Earth, of our supposed protagonist, killing people, and the unhinged Blade Runner, again, replicant children with super strength. Let's talk about the super strength for a minute. I don't know if I've ever detailed that, but why the hell? You didn't have to give them super strength. Like, ugh. But anyway, the super strength nibs tearing off that dude's jaw. Like, okay, yeah, now I really like her. So the episode proper is low sperm count, washed up on the beach with a crab eating his chest opening. Because again, I'm supposed to care about that guy as well. But anyway, Xeno approaches, does nothing. So the Xeno runs up to him on the beach, and it's clearly a dude in a suit. Looks awful, lit within an inch of its life, like brightly. Like, why is there so much exposure on a xenomorph? But again, it does nothing, which is a main theme of this entire series at this point. Does nothing. The amount, I should have said this in non-spoilers, of nothing that occurs in 8 episodes. You're just counting. At one point, I literally just smiled and I'm like, oh, they're just trolling us. Like, I truly think at one point during the writing production of this, they were like, we're just supposed to play, like, I'm just laughing at, it's almost so bad that it's good. Not good, but it, like, that it's making me laugh. It feels like a parody of Alien. We're in, what's it called? Scary Movie. What up? This is what up, Alien. And I'm sure I think there's Alien. I'm not a huge fan of those movies, but I'm pretty sure there's Alien shit in those. If not, yeah, obviously, Spaceballs. That should have been my first reference. Hello, my baby. That's where we're at right now. This is the Hello, my baby of television. So again, Xeno approaches, does nothing, looks like shit. Then, since it's only been 30 seconds, we have our Coppola crossfades. Can't help ourselves, of the island. More island, by the way, than Xeno, which again works for the theme of nothing. If you're really going to drive home, nothing is happening on this fucking show, you might as well just get it really seems like they're like more interested in the fact that they are that we're shooting in Thailand. We're shooting in Thailand. I think they just really wanted to say during interviews that they were shooting on location in Thailand. Um, oh, 80s synth music plays as if some cool Predator shit's gonna happen. I mean, we're beginning episode 8. At this point, I'm going, all right. And I should be fair going into it. I know I was very cynical, and they deserve it. I didn't write the show, in non-spoilers, but it's like I was still maybe hoping they were going to compress all of the nothing into something in this, meaning like action for most of the episode. Like, let's give them one more chance. I'm here. I'm signing up for the continuous abuse, but it. And then nothing happens. But anyway, this was the first example of like, well, I guess the second, because we got a xenomorph who did nothing before that. But this 80s synth music over a jungle, it's the same you as Predator. We talked about this a couple episodes ago when the Marines are walking around. Nothing Predator-esque happens. And even if it's not Predator, like I said, why are you playing the synth, having an alien, and these crossfades are of the alien walking around the jungle? As if I'm not supposed to make any kind of connection there, or at least, I don't know, let's see the alien kill some people, which, spoilers, we're in spoiler walkthrough, the whole episode, there's like, oh, an alien just killed someone. It's like they're telling us that. It's like as if someone at the bar was like, oh, an alien just killed someone, and you live in this actual universe of alien, and you're supposed to be like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Whereas with a movie, what's interesting is we get to see. It's a visual medium. We're the lucky ones, guys. And that's what makes it a movie. Why are we not seeing the alien do the killing? It is just nuts. Like, again, we're going to go through it, but that's crucial to point out here. At the graveyard that no one asked for, what we saw last episode, who gives a fuck about this graveyard? We know they're dead. Why did anyone put this graveyard there? Like, I have so many questions about this. It is so confusing for these highly emotional, experimental Blade Runner replicant children. Why would you remind them of their previous, like, they're still doing all this philosophical wish-washy. Who are they? Who really are they? Let's ask these questions now. Now that we've given them super strength. Now that they're highly deadly and have literally proven to be so. We're going to still let them run loose, and it's just nuts. Like, Dame Sylvia right now is walking around the jungle by herself, no security, and we're literally about to see she gets now approached by a there's a xenomorph loose. You're walking around the jungle because you want to go to a graveyard that shouldn't be there, and you're the scientist who I don't understand what this show is. I literally don't. This is why I said this in non-spoilers. Like, I can't believe this show is real. I can't wait to listen to other reviews. I always am antsy to do that, obviously, right? Because I always wait until after mine, like I said. But I just can't wait to confirm that I'm not nuts. I don't believe what I'm seeing. Oof. So she gets approached by a xenomorph, who again does nothing. Because why would the xenomorph do anything? Well, actually, it does. We're not allowed to see what it does. That's right. I forgot what the rule was. The Marines shoot it once, so it's in her face, and it's drooling. I don't know if we talked about the design of it. Why does it have, like, the white stuff on the front of its head? It's got this, like, discoloration. What the fuck's that about? And what does it do? Is it supposed to be like, ooh, Jungle Alien? Jungle Edition? It's not green. It's not... okay, cool, right? Marines shoot it once, and it runs. One bullet. Hits... essentially a steel armored skull covering. These things have like steel heads, as always we say, razor sharp claws, steel heads, a perfect organism. You know, a piston that shoots out of its jaw, a razor sharp tail. That's like a, what do they call it? A circular saw on the edge of a whip. This thing gets shot once in its head and it's like, ooh, runs away. I guess that's because it's so distracted by Wendy. It's just scared. This is an emotional Xeno. And as we learn, God, I again should have said this in non-spoilers, but I couldn't get past that one bullet point of just feeling like a crazy person. You know why I like the aliens? So we're supposed to like a character who likes the aliens. That's where we're at. The xenomorph, again, I knew this was coming. She literally pet it last episode, if that's not worth going over. Oh, and that was in the Alien previously ons. Fuck you. They even reminded us of that. They couldn't let me forget that. They should have let me forget it. They did not. So these Marines who have no charisma or acting ability shoot it once, and it runs. Also, no damage to it. So it runs just because it's like scared of one bullet. And there's like 3 Marines. Again, no one. This place is the most understaffed, which I guess kind of gets explained later, but it doesn't explain it before. When they had 1,000 Marines roll up out of nowhere. And that kind of happens again in this episode too, where like magic Marines, they just, they manifest. Not manifest. Well, the kids now call it manifest. The word I was looking for is materialize. They just materialize. We get a bird's eye shot / transition of a Xeno killing someone, which begins, I guess this is the second time that we actually wanted to see that. But who wants interesting things? Yeah, the first one, that's right. The first one was the non-predator predator part. And blood, streaks, Xeno dragging somebody. Who is it? Doesn't matter. What happened? We don't know. That's what we want to see. We want to see as far away as possible, and we want to see blood, but no death. And I got to say, if I didn't say this before, this is the one thing that would have kept this going. It's called Alien Earth. We want to see aliens do things. Yes, you can do all this shit with, I've talked about this many times, but my point here is, sure, if you want to do Baby Blade Runner, you have time because it's a series versus a movie. If this was Baby Blade Runner trash, you could still compensate. Sorry, what I'm trying to say is you could still compensate for that with alien kills throughout this episode. The last episode, at least it's like, you know what? This show kind of sucked, and still the xenomorph looked like shit, and there was a lot of problems. But at least we got to see some killing. And it's like they let us know there was killing. Again, this is the guy at the bar in the Alien U going, someone got killed again. Oh, shit. That's a shame. Do you have a footage of it on your phone? No social media? No. But it happened. Oh, man. It happened. Whew. So things do happen. Just don't get to see it in a movie. Sorry, in a show. Adam, with a T, / Alfred's VO of the island. So that now we're getting... Sorry, Adam / Alfred. I love how people are calling him the Alfred of the island, but his name is really Adam with a T. His VO of the island, because we can't get enough of the island. We have aliens loose. We have people getting killed, because the guy at the bar told us that. Other aliens. We got the eyeball sheep. All the shit is going on, is my point. Loose, not loose, but Blade Runner replicants who are super strength and techno-powered. The VO is of the island. Anyway, he's reporting to Cavalier, my point, with this voiceover. Comms are down. Satellites are blocked. The Cyborg and Yutani have cut off the island. Not that we wanted to see any of that happen, but okay. Again, theme of the show. Don't show. So now this is just the best. I mean, here we go, baby. Hybrids are in a holding cell. And we get, I guess this is where they do show and don't tell. I shouldn't say. They did show us the kills post-kill, though. It was like, again, more of this awful editing. Like, ooh, did you learn the editing? The Flash feature in, Adobe Premiere editing? Because it's like these people just learn editing skills for the first time and think they can throw these flavors in whenever they want. It doesn't. Point is, if you're gonna throw in some literally flashy editing, make it count, make it matter for while we're watching. It does not. You are not making Jacob's Ladder. You are not that important. This is awful shit. Stop making flashes. But anyway, we're getting. It's like, sorry. Adam is doing a report of all these people getting killed, and all we're seeing is what happened after. And he even goes, 0 containment on the adult Xeno. Hybrids are in a holding cell. And again, back to the hybrids in a holding cell. I'm not sure how long it will hold. You don't say. You also put her in a room. I caught this right away, too. There's a screen right there. She's techno-omnipotent, Wendy. She's what would you even call it? Technokinesis. She can control technology, and we even see her do it within 2 minutes, and we're not supposed to expect a breakout. Where is the subversion of anything in this? We know what's going to happen throughout the whole episode. This keeps happening, this kind of shit. It's like as if baby Blade Runners couldn't break out of this cell. Like, there shouldn't even be, they should be in there for like a minute. How did they even get them in there? There was no resistance by them. Like, that would have been interesting to watch, trying to get them into the cell. You're telling me Nibs, no fight? We see her literally beat a guy to death in this episode and last episode, rip a dude's jaw off. She's a savage, like, killer. But somehow they got them into the cell in the first place. But cool. And then he, again, zero containment on the adult Xeno. It keeps killing them, talking about the Marines. Because he's also talking about, like, how many people are left, people are evacuating. The whole point of this is him saying, I recommend evacuation strongly. But he can't, obviously, because Boy Cavalier is stupid, because everybody's stupid. But I just like that line. He's like, the Marines are out there. It keeps killing them. Like, you don't say. Again, we only get flashes. We don't get to see the killing. This could have been, and this is what I said before, the one redeeming part of the episode. Xeno kills, but... And then they even look like trash when we do get him. So, I just... whatever. Point is, Adam then, again, strongly recommends Cavalier evacuates like most everyone else. And he's just like, I have to stay here with... For what reasons? Like, why are you so connected to this place? Why does this... None of it makes sense. I get it, it's his, Neverland, but they don't make that kind of mean anything. I still kind of don't know what he wants. He wants to have an interesting conversation, apparently. That's his main thing. Be it from an alien or baby Blade Runner. And then as we say at the end, he's like happy that she took over. So is he happy to not be in control? I thought he was a control freak. Now he's like, ooh, they've surpassed me. And but it doesn't seem to fit his character, because right before, this is me talking to myself. Literally right before that, you're going to let her talk to me like that? And then she's like, we rule. And I'm jumping to the end, but this is my point. Characterization of Boy K is awful. And this is supposed to be this is supposed to be the antagonist. And like I said, I don't know what he wants. And then we're also supposed to like Wendy for being a murderess. I don't like anyone. Why would I like anyone? Eyeball Sheep is still in Cavalier's office, which we saw last episode. I wish I could hear you speak. What a fucking interesting conversation. Yeah, I agree. Why aren't we hearing it? Why aren't... You're talking about a conversation. Okay. Blade Runner. Blade Runner is the new Black. So back in the cell that they're somehow in. And, such interesting camera work. Such interesting... It's so uninteresting. The camera, character work, all of this. And it goes on and on. And this was the point where I'm like, are they trolling? Like, is this where it's... what is it? Like I said before, scary movie, but in, like, the dullest way possible. Like, is this just you going like, oh, we're... Ready? You wanted more Alien? We're going to bore the shit out of you again with another meandering, inane, just insipid conversation among these baby Blade Runners who are supposed to be super smart, and they are just as dumb as everyone on the show. So when nothing's happening... yeah. So when nothing's happening, then we get more of what actually did happen, right? Because she has flashes of more things that we already have seen. I don't get it. Like, they keep doing this too throughout. They've been doing this every episode, and they keep doing it here. It's the last episode. You are showing us more flashbacks. We already did the previously on Alien Earth. And now, when nothing's happening in the cell, we get more of what actually did happen. New Zealand Hybrid is like, yeah, but you were snitching, and I was supposed to be his favorite, and blah, blah, blah. And again, we never... can't talk because I'm just so blown away. No character development for that character, and all of a sudden they brought her back last episode. I literally forgot she existed. And she was supposed to be instrumental in that she was on Cavalier's side, which is, I guess, the theme of this conversation. even though it never ends up mattering. She doesn't fight them, even though she's supposed to be on their side. Because we don't want to see baby Blade Runners fight. We don't want to see that. We just want to see them talk and talk and talk. And we have to watch them talk. Like, as if that's visually interesting. Word. This is an alien show. Maybe I should just keep saying that. This is an alien show. I should just have that on loop for another video version of the same podcast. Nibs is somehow, again, still on. They have not just, boop, you could turn her off. He could turn her off with a cell phone. Why are they not? How did they get her in the cell? So many questions. And then she's like, I didn't rat you out. I don't even know what you did. Talking to, it's New Zealand hybrids talking to Smee, who just the cringe continues. The cringe. Saga of the cringe continues with Smee and Slightly. And Wendy then talks about the graves now for no good reason. She's like, there's a graveyard out there. And I love, what I do love, this is where it feels scary movie in like a not fun way. How self-serious they are when they shoot Wendy. Like, you got your fucking Lloyd Christmas haircut from Dumb and Dumber. The way the camera's moving around her. I mean, just, and what is the saddest possibly is that people unfamiliar with this universe might think this is serious and cool. Like, I was thinking about, I'm like, if I was a 12-year-old girl and they're like, ooh, the camera's moving around Wendy with her stupid fucking haircut, and she's like, I kind of like science fiction, and ooh, I like Alien. And when you're a kid, obviously, you don't, the shit that you like doesn't hold up when you're older, of course. So now the kids are getting infected. They're infecting the next generation. But that might be the biggest sin, is my point. And then she's like, I'm not dead. We're still having these philosophical debates about death, the meaning of life, death, and existence. What was that chapter in my philosophy course? This is philosophy 101 shit. Stop it. Not the time for these conversations, and you do it through showing. But we don't want to show anything. We just want to talk and talk about not being dead. These prison cell scenes, by the way, I said this before, are so long. They're so long. It is worth repeating. Who gives a fuck about any of this? Again, we're in the finale of a show called Alien. In the title. George, this is my George Costanza moment. I can't take how dumb this is for where we're at in the show that I have to listen to these fucking kids back and forth. Oh, and none of the dialogue's interesting. Again, it's not like you're Tarantino or Kevin Smith and you can pull off people just talking. There's no pulling off any of this, and it is so cringe. And this is also like Wendy is now supposed to seem smart again by quoting Peter Pan. So the guy she hates, who has modeled this entire like scenario in which she has taken over, started to murder people, abhors, thinks is like this awful situation, and maybe it is. I don't know. I would assume ripping people's jaws off is not the way to deal with those emotions, but let's all agree that she doesn't like what Boy Cavalier has set up here, right? But she keeps quoting Peter Pan as if she's like agreeing with it now. So which the fuck is it? Like, and we're supposed to think she's smart by quoting a children's book. And they all know these things. Like, again, this is the problem. They all should have these Matrix memorized, especially Peter Pan of all things. He would have them like preloaded with Peter Pan info. They would just start quoting it back to her and be like, yeah, you're being boring, Wendy. Let's move on to interesting things. But we don't want interesting things on Alien Earth. We're all in the cell. And again, this is where we're supposed to be like, ooh, Wendy's having an epiphany. It's so fucking cringe. We're all in the cell because we can't be kids anymore. But they won't let us be adults. Yeah, you're killing people. Are you acting like adults? Half of your friends here you're not adults. No. Like, I hate this so much. And it is not these people's fault per se. It's mostly your family's fault that all this is happening. I mean, obviously, there's morally blameworthy people at certain levels at all of this. But if any of it was nuanced and well written like the Alien movies and franchise should be and was, like, yeah, they all do fucked up things, but oh god, I mean, it is shockingly bad. And even if I said this last episode, even if this was an Alien, this would be, I'd be like, what is this television? And I guess Noel Hawley thinks this excuses, this is important here, right? Like, this line that she just said, we're all in the cell because we can't be kids anymore, but they won't let us be adults. I think he thinks this excuses the superpowered techno-omnipotent replicant who has, again, a pet xenomorph. Oh, that killing is excused because we're supposed to feel bad because they, quote, won't let us be adults. Okay, just want to make sure. That's all. That killing's cool because you found yourself in, yes, a highly questionable moral situation, but the moral response doesn't matter. Cool. I seriously, again, have no idea what the moral, that's the clearest way I can say it. I seriously have no idea what the moral position of the whole show is. Not just like, because if you're going to, you know what I'm saying at this point, but it's worth driving home. If you don't properly position your protagonist, how am I supposed to know? And again, let me be a little clearer. Whatever your moral position is, I don't want to say is unimportant. I can judge you, I guess, on a meta level or whatever morally, but you're not making it clear. That's the problem. It's and is this a 70s crime film or something where it's like, I'm not supposed to really like anybody, but you're supposed to understand them, but you don't make me even like them. Not just, at least some villains you can like. There's morally ambiguous stories you can tell. At least make this shit interesting. At least throughout this, have a very ugly xenomorph that maybe I'd let go if it actually did something. Or at least that I saw. It wasn't the guy at the bar telling me it happened. What do ghosts do? So cringe. Like, cringe, but we should just have a cringe count. What do ghosts do? All this time, we've been afraid of them, but I think they should be afraid of us. Whoa. Like, no one's... Just do what you're talking about. Already have broken out. We wouldn't be here having this conversation. You would already be just doing what you're saying. Shut it. They're supposed to be super smart and powerful. Like, that's the thing. If these were children, not powered, and they were talking in a cell, that makes sense, at least. I don't want to see it, but, like, how is this at all? And this is when she... like, you just thought of this now. All these tech powers, again, monitor been there the whole time. And then before the ultra obvious tech takeover, she first has to awkwardly start clicking. Because when in doubt, like, this was when she went into villain mode right away, and the moral ambiguity was like, huh? Ambiguity, it just went right to antagonist, in my opinion. Or just like, this is an experiment gone wrong, turn her off, reboot, and we'll figure it out. Holy shit. So anyway, she just went right into... Like, we need a diversion, so the first thing I'm going to do with all my techno-omnipotence, by the way, instead of just setting off some alarms and maybe some sprinklers, whatever, the first thing I'm going to do is unleash a xenomorph on probably the most innocent people possible on the island. You could argue all kinds of, again, moral ambiguity here. It's not vague or whatever to say. The people working in a lab, not even Marines... There was like lab assistants probably in that room. It's like interns and shit. We talked about this, but it is very worth repeating. That was like her first, oh, I have the power to do this. So let me immediately get the Xeno over there. And like, also, I just thought of this, if it's a mental thing between the Xeno, why do we have to hear her clicking? Why is it, that's like if I had a telepathic connection to a person a mile away, would I be like, person, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't verbalize it at all. No one in the room, you get my point. Why the fuck are we hearing her click if she has this connection to it? I guess let that go entirely, but back to this, like, goes right to clicking is my point. That's when in doubt, Wendy clicks and people die because holy shit. Cavalier starts calling Kirsch, and again with this awkward clicking, these hideous close-ups of her face and the face that she has to make with her lips and the sound and all that. And then we get these, again, more excuses for Coppola crossfades to the xenomorph doing nothing. She does make it do some stuff later, but I mean, limited. And we have no idea what they're saying to each other. That might be interesting. Nah, we don't want that. Like before. He flat out says it. Cavalier says it to the sheep. It would be fucking interesting to hear what you were saying. But okay, let's hear what he says. You wrote the show. Why are you limiting yourself? Insane. Cavalier calls Kirsch asking about the tech takeover. So he's like, my computer monitors are going out, blah, blah, blah. Because again, it took Wendy like 45 minutes to figure that out. He's like, don't be mad, be smart. That's what Kirsch says to him. I have a brain the size of a planet. Like, questioning my intelligence. And then here it is. Cringe alert. Cringe count. Let's fucking go. Dude, what? Let's fucking not. Because he's like, Yutani is going to come to the island and go after me. Let's go. Oh, I mean, it is. And the closest cringe dialogue delivery, we'll call it, because this is all cringe dialogue, but one of the biggest, at least delivery wise, JHC later. I can't wait to get there. I mean, Dana Gonzalez, again, this director, stop directing like this. Don't stop directing. Stop directing like this. I wouldn't recommend coming back for season 2, and if you do, I mean, look at the writing you have to deal with. This is me talking to a director who's like, who the fuck are you? Then Kirsch talks about his ADHD for no reason. He's like, someone with your severe case of ADHD. And then the signal gets cut in and out, and we hear how he's on meds. Because he's like, again, keep your cool. Let's not. Again, don't be mad. Be smart. Who gives a fuck that he has ADHD? Why? This seems like, no offense to, millennials do it too. It's like, there's so many people I know now, and like, nearly every conversation somehow goes back to their ADHD. It's like the first 2 minutes, I remember I met this girl. She's like, oh, yeah, you know me, ADHD. And she brought up, and it was, what really made me note it was I'd only met her once. Like, it was one person I met once at a bar. That was the first and last time I ever saw her. ADHD came up. Oh, and that's right. No, I'm sorry. Because there was a message as well, which blew me away. That's right. Saw her once, message once. And the point is, ADHD came up in person like 3 times, if not 4, and almost immediately. And then in the DM again, ADHD. I'm like, why does this girl? She's so interested in her own ADHD. I don't understand why. So like, why the fuck did this come up again? I don't know if that's supposed to be like, oh, let's make it feel relevant. Okay. And then Cavalier looks at the Marine, the one guard that he has. So this is the founder of one of the most powerful companies of the 5 in the world, and he has one bodyguard. That's cool. How do you feel about your eyes? As if the audience is supposed to be like, ooh, I know what he's talking about. We all know what he's talking about. Shut up. Cut to commercial after more cringe dialogue, because he says he's like talking. They keep doing this, like, oh, it's such cringe cuts to commercial is my point. Kirsch did it last episode. Like, they're so self-aware of the commercials, going like, what did he say last episode? You two are grounded. Talking to Smee and Slightly. You two are grounded. Cut to black. What the fuck genre do you think you're in right now? That was so cringe. But yeah, he says something of the fucking eyeballed sheep. Ugh. Anyway, after our cut to cringe commercial, the Space Marines we never get to see have now escorted Dame Sylvia to her therapist office. These are the worst actors. The in capitals. In Aliens, they made us care about each one of the Marines. I kind of went into this a couple episodes ago and talked about it briefly just now. the Predator jungle scenes, it should have been Predator jungle scenes. You had 8 episodes to make us care about these aliens, Marines, right? Give us flavors of both movies. Alien 1, Aliens, and no, we couldn't have done both shows. Why would you make us, like, each one of those Marines, as badass as Marines are just by nature, they are Marines. Each one of them had a whole, like, every time one of them got killed in that movie, you cared on some level. I mean, even like the shittiest of them, and they all had a different personality. And no, Dame is another character that we're supposed to care about. Again, this is Dame Sylvia, the female scientist. Even after she emasculated her husband and basically abandoned him, maybe it's the low sperm count, I don't know, ultimately getting him killed directly or indirectly. Like, literally all that is on her. It's so shockingly, Wendy has now taken over the controls of the therapist office. So they escort her to her office and then leave. Loose xenomorph, baby Blade Runners who could break out at any time, as we know. No security stays in her room, which absolutely comes back later. So don't act like that doesn't matter. Don't act like these doors are somehow secure, not only by physical strength, but yes. And Wendy even says it later. She's like, I sound like a crazy person recapping this. It's like every time new shit comes into my mind as I'm talking about it, it's compounded in its lack of quality. It's amazing. Anyway, Wendy has now taken over the controls of the therapist office with looped video footage of Wendy / Marcy pre-transition. And once again, this is our count of nothing happening. That's all that happens. Like, you have these deadly aliens on campus. Again, rogue hybrids. This lady just gets a really mean video. Like, it's social media. Take that! She was on blast on Insta. That's how bad it got for Dame Sylvia. Fuck me. Morrow is another uninteresting... Oh, sorry. Morrow is in another uninteresting jail cell. The dialogue here, even with Morrow, the best. I mean, it started... We confirmed that the end of last episode confirmed that Morrow and Kirsch are no longer... They're just as dumb as everyone now. I mean, they are on the same level of lack of intellect. And this dialogue, this whole scene, what is this? So JHC comes in, Joe Hermitcrab, and he's like, how are you feeling? Because he's like, oh, I'm a medic, I'll help you. This is the best stuff. And okay, so you have a jailed cyborg. Here's another containment problem. I just thought of this. Jailed cyborg, deadly, right? You have a medic without a Marine going in there to tend to him. Makes sense. Prison guard's right outside, but you let him in there by himself. I'm here to help. And he's like, how are you feeling? As if I'm great. And he goes, this is the best I'll feel all day. Let me enjoy it. This is the best I'll feel all day. Let me enjoy it. What the fuck does that mean? Another compilation we could add to, like, another, cringe count type thing. What the fuck does that mean? Okay. Why was this be the best he'll feel all day? What on earth does that mean? And then he's like, you were in that spaceship when it crashed, weren't you? Or you caused that spaceship to crash. Something about the crash. That's a yesterday conversation. I don't look back. Yet another. The fuck does that mean? The yesterday conversation. I don't look back. Yeah. This might be the most disappointing thing to watch, by the way, this whole episode. Not the worst, just the most disappointing because of Morrow's potential. Again, him and Kirsch that are officially on the level of the rest of these absolute idiots. And they're another casualty of the dumbness that is Alien Earth. More uncharismatic Marines. I mean, just like the airborne pathogens that we see in Alien Covenant for no reason has infected the minds of even the best. More uncharismatic Marines. Back to, again, these people who cannot act. The dialogue here has to be at the top. This might be the top of the cringe. Just fight the battle that's in front of you. What? Because one of them was like, what about this? And what? Oh, yeah, with an alien xenomorph on the loose, because they find some shit. And then she's like, there's an alien xenomorph on the loose, though. Just fight the battle that's in front of you. And thank Christ there's only one battle left of reviews here, because this show blows. Like, anyway, he wasn't able. Oh, sorry. He wants to get. He wasn't here. He wants to get that same idiot to the armory with the big guns that he mentioned. So that's what they're looking for. I guess God saved me the trouble. So after this, I not only cringe dialogue, not only worst actors ever. The cherry on top here is conceptually what is happening. Wendy again is techno taken over. Even elevator safety. Like, my 8-year-old niece probably knows, don't ever get into an elevator that's malfunctioning. Like, if it's anywhere above its level, if it's doing anything wrong, that thing could obviously go up and down and cut your ass in half as you get on each floor. You are a Marine, a space Marine. You get on an elevator that has opened itself. And the guy before who was like, just fight the battle for father. She then, he's the only one who even hesitates. And the rest of them are just like, yeah, let's get on the elevator with the techno-omnipotent Blade Runner replicant who has taken over. Even if you, again, don't know she's taken over. The fuck would you get on this elevator for? I don't care how compartmentalized the information is of, like, meaning if they don't know that she has taken over, even her abilities, you got on that elevator. Excellent. Oh, lights are flashing, by the way. Like, the whole place is clearly malfunctioning electronically, but you get on the elevator. She's like, come on, get on, stupid guy. And then she complains about letting the cold air out. She's like, you're letting the cold air out. Hop on. The fuck are we talking about? Like, was that supposed to be like oh, this is how people talk? It's not, though. No person would get on that elevator with any sense who's a space Marine. No one would say that. And then once again, no shock, no surprise. Completely predicted, even if, let's say, we bought all the rest of that, where is the subversion of story? This is where the storytelling, as it unfolds, editing, whatever you want to call it, it's all shit, because we know what's going to happen. We know who opened the elevator. So now these Marines are on an elevator, and we're supposed to be like, oh man, she took it over. No, we're not supposed to do that. Why would we do that? More cringe dialogue from Smee. So as they're going from floor to floor, she's like counting the floors in the elevator. Smee is skipping around. This is like one of 4 fucking skipping scenes. Because, oh, it's Neverland. So we all skip. The 12-year-olds still, let's say one of those kids is at the most 12. You skip. At least 12, whatever, 11. Skipping seems, that's a lot. And just shut up. Ugh. Anyway, he's counting as the same floor levels, as if Wendy's like translating what he's saying. Which, again, what is that? Why how the floors are going by him skipping and talking? Who gives a fuck about any of this? It's an alien show. Why do they have a monitor in this room? I know I complained about it before, but because this is what makes all of this apparently work. Like, just like anytime there's problems, let's say in Alien, for example, it's because Ash caused the problem, and Ripley's the smart one, and people might not be on Ripley's side, but they at least everyone is on a certain level of what's called intelligence. No matter what space trucker level of people you're on the Nostromo, you're like, all right, I don't agree and I want to live. So, like, for the quarantine situation, for example, Ash is the reason all of that gets fucked up. It's not because of stupidity and negligence, blatant negligence. You have put these kids in a scenario where you think that they're locked up and can't do anything. and you put the techno-omnipotent girl. Okay, we get it, but I can't. It's got to be covered. Then we get shots of the camera, which, in case you forgot, they have cameras. Not that those cameras matter most of the time, because surveillance means very little on the show. More Coppola crossfades, because it's been 30 seconds. This time for flashbacks of letters Marcy had written to Joe Hermitcrab. Just more story we should have gotten in, like, I don't know, episode 1. Maybe sandwich that a bit. Don't wait for the finale. And look, I don't know, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, 8. No. And then Joe Hermitcrab crying, reading the letters, which I would care if I cared about him or his sister. And now at this point, I really don't care about her. So, and his delusion, again, which can't be understated, of thinking he can get her off the island. Like, thinking that's a realistic, oh, but we turned off tracking with the one tracking button that can't be turned back on. To the point where now you have them locked up, and he thinks he can break them out of Blade Runner jail. That's where we're at. So back in the cell with Morrow and JHC. And again, let me get this straight as well while we're talking about JHC shit that makes no sense. Joe Hermitcrab has somehow teamed up with Morrow. Breaks Morrow out of his cell. And Morrow does say this at the end as he breaks him out, but he's like, and you better get the kids, or, because I'm going to take over this island. I'm going to burn this island to the ground or the water, whatever the fuck. Okay, but do you think that, like, do you need Morrow? What I'm trying to say is the cost benefit of letting out this cyborg who has clearly really questionable motives here that go against your interests in a lot of ways. You could easily get killed. But why do you trust this guy? On what level was trust gained? I'm very confused about that. This is where I do feel like, especially being live right now, I wanted more time to really think about this, because maybe there's something. Point is, am I saying something really stupid live and missing something? I don't think I am, but this is where I do feel a bit like I don't see how the interests of our characters are collaborating, how that works for our story in any way. In the Xeno Lab, but and this goes to, again, what do our characters want in this show? I know Morrow wants to get, and again, we'll move on in a second, but all right, I know Morrow wants to get the specimens, fulfill his life work with Yutani, get the specimens to Yutani. And then the brother wants to get her off the island. So, I guess because to get Kirsch out of the way, that's the plan. So he's like, if you could get Kirsch, you get my point here. It just doesn't seem like enough, and it seems like way too much of a risk. Especially with your techno-omnipotent sister. You know she has these powers. There it is. That's your solution. Once you get her out, you're done. Just wait 30 seconds. She'll get herself out. Oh my god, that's why I felt dumb. Because that's the answer. In the Xeno Lab with Kirsch. Kirsch is sitting at the lab table doing labby shit. Only took us 8 episodes, by the way, to now see him fight. So anyway, Morrow comes into the room. Those two start fighting. And, there's some interesting stuff here. What I don't understand is Morrow taking the same levels of damage that Kirsch is and being able to sustain them in the same way. Like, Kirsch is a synth body. He's a synth all the way. Not a hybrid. Definitely not a cyborg. He's a synth. Fully robot is my point. And yet Morrow is able to take shots from a super strong synth and has mostly human parts. That needed more fleshing out. Pun intended. So Morrow then breaks Kirsch's back, which that was kind of cool, like seeing him, like, the white blood bleeding out as he's shaking and convulsing or whatever, but doesn't disable him further. And this is, again, they are on the same intellect level at this point, because he's not dead. To the point where he just responded to you. He's like, didn't John Henry, or he goes through the story of John Henry Irons, which this is another just philosophy 101, in this case, literature / lore 101 of, John Henry Irons, you're invoking the nuts. It's like, dude, this is Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles. Literally had a character named John Henry, and that show is so bad that it's good. And I know I've talked about this here on the pod, but in case you didn't hear that episode, that is science fiction, I should say genre / franchise science fiction that is so bad that it's good. Television, by the way. This is so bad that it's bad. And John Henry, so anyway, the story of John Henry Irons, and he's like, didn't John Henry die of exhaustion? Or, Kirsch is like, didn't John Henry die of exhaustion? In English, didn't John Henry die of exhaustion? And that's kind of the point of that whole story, is that he's this basically AI type. Anyway, you look up the story of John Henry Irons. It's, God. And of course, that's Steel is named after that in the comics and DC Comics, but shut up. Morrow breaks Kirsch's back, like I said. Leaves the gun on the floor, number one, and he's not dead. Like, and we know, we've seen all these Alien movies to the point where in Alien 3, Bishop is like just a head. He's just a head. The most recent ones, David's a head. And it's not even like he's feeling pain. He doesn't care what's happening to him, and you just let him sit there while you're talking about John Henry. And again, the fight wasn't even that great. It just wasn't that cool. Okay. And it doesn't have to do with the brevity of it. If you're wondering, like, oh, maybe it wasn't long enough for it. No. Okay. So in Blade Runner 2049, speaking of robot fights, which this is why we're here, took 8 episodes to get. Finally, we get it. And point is, Blade Runner 2049, when Ryan Gosling fights Batista, it's short, but it's incredible. Like, that fight, it just makes complete sense. Obviously, it wouldn't last very long. They're both replicants. But, God. And by the way, in that fight, it made sense because Ryan Gosling was the newer model and beats the older model. Because that's how technology works, guys. Safari, whatever the fuck, is better than AOL back in the day. Like, you really... Anyway, back in the Blade Runner Cell Block D, I hated how this was shot. The dialogue. Hated it. You said I was your favorite? And he's like, did I? Who can remember? So, sorry. What I missed saying here was that they're in the cell block once again. I do hate how it was shot, but what's his name? Boy Cavalier shows up. And this is where we get him, like, standing outside the cell, still not realizing that Wendy has these powers, thinking he can contain them. It's just gaslighting. And again, where is the subversion here? You know what might happen in this scene? Wendy might break the door open. That might threaten the safety of Boy. We know this is... Everything that's about to happen is completely demystified. What is the point of these scenes? Anyway, so New Zealand Hybrid is like, you said I was your favorite. I don't know why that sounded Indian. And he's like, did I? Who can remember? Oh, maybe, huh? The fuck does that mean? So you forgot that you told her that? And that's, like, how about he goes, oh yeah, I did. Ha ha ha, but that bubble. Instead, it's, did I? Who can remember? ADHD. Okay. Like, is this what charisma looks like for Gen Z? I don't think that. No one, it doesn't. Wendy opens the cell door. Again, you knew she could do that. We get a not very interesting origin story, by the way, for Boy Cavalier that we should have gotten at the latest. I don't know, maybe 4 episodes ago, 1 episode ago. And if you don't, I don't know. If the rest of the show didn't suck, this would be the worst. But it's like, it's just among a bunch of shit. So the point is that he had his father killed by a synth that he built at age 6. And it's like, all right, you want to be a prodigy. 6, you built a synth that could double as your father. It seems like the synth doubled for his father. The way Kirsch, just looks like a human, just looks like Olyphant. Killed his father and replaced his father. But again, not that we want to see this happen. What we're seeing in an alien show is not robots kill people. Instead, it's a bunch of Gen Zers with bad camera work circling around a Blade Runner jail cell. That, by the way, looks kind of like the Tweety bird, like a bird cage. Shut up. And the kids, as he's telling this story, they look about as bored as I am. Like, it's interesting that people in the scene look, and their machines. They should look like that way more, by the way. Like, that seemed like the one natural thing that they've done all season, is kids get bored pretty easily. Show that. Like, that they have to sit there and sit through all this shit at the threat of being turned off, but no one turns them off because everyone just respects how they feel and blah, blah, blah. This does seem like a very, like, modern, in the worst way, parenting thing of, like, just let them do whatever the fuck they want, say whatever they want. Even the super strength of them, they're allowed to just go around murdering. Cool. And then he actually says this, the show keeps doing this. Sweeties, you're floor models. You're talking to them like an infomercial? Bro, this would that would trigger any human. A girl who just ripped off the jaw of one of your Marines, you called her a floor model. Less than an episode later. Nibs then starts purring, so even the action is cringe. This is, surprisingly, jumps down, beats the guard's face in, which we don't see. We don't see that. We just see her face as it's happening. Barely any blood, weirdly, because this show doesn't hold back on the gore, but we never get to see anything. None of them question this, by the way. Like, all of these kids are down with all of this killing. Everyone in that cell. They're like, yeah, you know, Nibs. She's really on one today. And cringe alert, cringe count. Wendy says to Cavalier, run. Like, you thought that was ran. Fuck off. Anyway, for audio, if you didn't see my reenactment there, she's like, in case you didn't notice, this is your cue to leave the cell, because we're going to have you killed. And I already clicked my Xeno friend, and my Xeno friend's coming. Ugh. We're supposed to be on their side during this. I can't help but think, again, like, parenting in the worst way these days, this obsession with power that we have. And she blatantly says it later on, but, like, and it even said it in the super brief synopsis, you know, power dynamics shift. So everyone that has power is automatically bad. Like, how we have reframed history, how we've reframed our society these days of, like, power equals bad. Power just is. There will always be people and things in power. Your job as a citizen of a place, in this case, a moral whatever, someone who's developing as this hybrid and are you human, are you not, which you could do fascinating shit. Hybriding AI with, because again, that's like one of our people constantly talking about AI now, right? In terms of relevance, you want to be relevant, you want to be socially relevant. Let's get into the idea of, like, when you are human, what matters most, probably. What should your first thing be is this right or wrong? Not, can I? Do I have the ability to? And or, oh, these people have been in power, therefore we need to take over at all costs, no questions asked. It's like, no, you should probably ask some questions. No, you're actually too young to be processing these things. And people who are older than you, and historically, and just now I'm getting into a different thing, but, like, you know, soapbox complete here. I don't understand this obsession with, and the worst part is, if you are going to do, you know, this obsession with power dynamics that I'm complaining about, whose side am I on now? There's just the amount of moral ambiguity leads me to think that these people have no morals who write this fucking show. Anyway, Wendy immediately coordinates a plan. I never thought I'd start sounding like people who think that watching Harry Potter is like, oh, you can't do that, sends bad messaging. Like, this is literally bad messaging. This is what Karens complain about when they watch television. Wendy immediately coordinates a plan, by the way, to take out all these pretty fairly innocent people just doing their jobs on the island. Argue all you want that anyone who works on that island deserves to die. Is that what? Fill in the blank then. Fill in the blank. Deserves to die? Okay. Oh, man. This episode seems frighteningly relevant. I'll leave it at that. JHC's quarters. Adam comes to JHC with a proposal from Boy K. Again, these names. Adam comes to Joe Hermit Crab. I know his name's not Hermit Crab, but let's be real. Adam with a T comes to Joe Hermit with a proposal from Boy Cavalier. Fuck your names. Ugh. And it's so... this is, again, supposed to be one of the smart characters who is now... It was one of three. Our three... Again, I guess our three synth/cyborgs. We now know that Adam is a synth. Spoilers in this episode. Being dumb. Like, thinking that this was an elegant way, an eloquent way, persuasive way to get JHC to just blindly follow him. Yeah, so I was talking with my boss and we thought we could show you something. Would you like to come see something that you would very much like to see? Shut. This is so obvious he's setting him up. Like, what human would fall for this over the age of 5? So Smee and Slightly Arush are in the hallway. It's not our fault. They made us. And they're morally questioning what they're doing, finally. Like, at least someone's doing it. At least it's, even though it's the most cringe character of all, Smee. I mean, that character, ugh. But, like, when Slightly Arush goes, it's not our fault. They made us. Another theme of this show, as it seems, many people their age in real life, this whole idea of, like, no moral accountability because I didn't ask to be born, Mom, so I can just kill whenever I feel like killing. Don't feel bad. It's not our fault. They made us. Just act on impulse because it's my truth. Me. Like, wow, now I'm invested. Really care about these people. Yeah, I mean, again, if you want to do basic philosophy, Nietzsche talked about this. And yeah, Nietzsche ended up, like, talking to his computer, too, or his typewriter by the end of his life. But what did make sense that he said is, and what everyone pretty much agrees on philosophically, is thrownness. We're all just thrown into the world in which we live. Like, it is not the fault of people when they are born what happened before them by the same people. But no one wants to acknowledge this because no one reads a fucking thing anymore, and they they cherry pick their own philosophies and morals to, again, no moral accountability. Like, people who are in such high horses about this, and I think the show is trying to say all these wannabe moral things, but, like, where's your accountability? Because yes, you're in this hybrid position. They made you. Okay, that every human is made. Now what? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? But there's no accountability. It's let's blame who is in power. Constantly blame who is in power. Act violently. Blame. Okay, like, I really care about these people. But this seems like a lot of people that we live among now. So it doesn't really surprise me. More flashes of things we actually should have gotten to see that we didn't. Do a count on that. Zeno in the hallway. Like, even in the dark, it looked bad. And even within this one scene, it's a theme of the rest of, we don't get to see anything because the guy's already dead, and that's how the scene begins. Guy's already dead, gets dragged into a hallway that we can't see. Then once he's in the hallway, even in the dark, like, the way they shot this, like I said, it seriously looked like a fan film. I don't know, like, the rest of the show actually looks a lot better than this. I don't know, every time they get this person in the xenomorph suit, this clearly person in a xenomorph suit, and then we didn't really see killing. It, like, had him on the ground, and it's like, cut to some other scene that no one cares about. Great. Sylvia's therapy room. Nibs comes in behind her. Again, no security. Why would you have security with Blade Runners on the loose and killer aliens? Nib smiles at her with this close-up that is so cringe. And I guess we're supposed to be scared by this? Like, ooh, a child's creepy smiling. Ooh. Shut up. Smee and Slightly come to the Xeno lab with Kirsch, because, again, Kirsch has his back broken, all cut up, and not cut up, but bleeding out is what I meant to say, with his white blood. But, oh, I didn't say this before, by the way. Obviously, because I was complaining about how He didn't kill Kirsch. He just kind of let him wriggle on the floor or whatever. Kirsch then ends up obviously grabbing his leg and choking him out. And so, oh, by the way, before that, Kirsch shot at him before the fight, because that's a good idea. Use a gun. I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Open fire with projectiles, not plasma or whatever, and blew open one of the Xeno cages, because you're going to use a projectile. You are the expert on all of this. And even with all the dumb stuff around xenomorphs before, this is supposed to be the one guy who is smart around the aliens. He's the science synth, opens fire with contained deadly aliens. Cool. So he then choked him out and has subdued Morrow, is my point. So back to this scene, when the idiot kids come in, he tells them to tie up Morrow, and they tie him up instead. So he's like, here, tie him up with the wires that we got in that first episode that were actually kind of cool looking. That's when, remember when Morrow like plugged it into his head and he like felt pain? I thought that one of the million things could have been interesting to explore further, why that happens and whatever. But yeah, those light up cords, I guess they're like super strong. tells the kids to tie up Morrow. They tie him up instead, and then slightly smashes Morrow in the face when he wakes up. And now I like him even less, because Morrow was cool and they are not, right? So, and Morrow didn't, that's it. Like, he doesn't, why didn't he fight the kid? He knew he was gonna start threatening him. He's like, oh, I didn't hurt your mom. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. Boom, smashes him in the face. Terrible way to get me to like your characters. Adam with a T brings JHC to Boy K's office. Like all the other dummies on the show, JHC's like, okay, yeah, I guess we'll just I'll just follow this evil person into the evil office with no security. No one else is in the room. You can see no one else is in the room except, and you can see the alien tank, and you still walk in. Word. Maybe he didn't quite see the alien tank. Don't quote me there, but like no one else is there. Even the guy he said was going to be, he's like, oh, we're going to meet with Boy K. Boy K's not in the room, and you walk in the room. Word. Sorry. It wouldn't what is about to happen, by the way, worked a lot better. Octopus, obviously, because now we see that the tank is open, and the sheep is just standing on its own. Crawls out, not surprisingly. And again, we know what's going to happen now. The second we see this thing in the room with him, we know what's about to happen. And if he is super strong, Adam, as we've learned, but I think this is what happened. I was thinking about this. Why didn't we get the reveal here? It's because they thought that reveal is so clever. Actually, we are about to get it in like 30 seconds. It should have been him holding down, what's his face, JHC, Hermit Crab, and then Wendy breaks in and they have the same fight they could have had with her shutting him down, which I fucking hate. But like, this is just more evidence of absolute shit editing. And he's like, I'll give you some privacy. It's like, give me some privacy after having to sit through this trash. That's what Adam said to JHC when he somehow lured him into this room. Eyeball octopus, we already said this, sorry. So then Wendy comes in and, quote, saves JHC by throwing the eyeball. So he's like, help me. She grabs the eyeball and just throws it. Don't finish the job. You wouldn't want to do that. Just throw it? Like, you're such a smart, you're so intelligent. We're supposed to care and feel so badass the way they shoot this character. She's so tough. Girl power, I guess. Girl power. And protagonist. And she throws it. Cool. The most satisfying scene of this episode, if I didn't have a count before maybe, is Wendy getting thrown over a table. So Adam comes into the room after that. After she busts in, he busts in as well. And throwing her over the table for the worst reason is satisfying. Again, it's like this is when the doctors got all messed up and low sperm count got killed last episode. I don't like these people. Why would I? They're all either dumb or so morally just, again, confusing. I don't even know what their position is because the show doesn't even tell us what the position is. The show doesn't even have a position, let alone show it to us. And if it does, from what I've collected, they're pretty morally abhorrent people too. Whoever the fuck wrote this beside Noah Hawley. Anyway, okay. So you didn't kill the alien by throwing it. So weird. I can't believe that didn't work. Then she soccer kicks it. Like you could tell there's like a whole wind up. Like it feels like they got a sports soccer person to be like, hey, have you ever shot sports before? Can we get a recommendation on how this kick should get followed through by our girl boss? Bend it like shut up. And again, this self-serious scene of Wendy. So again, what's his name comes after. I hate this so much. To fight. After she gets thrown over the table, Adam comes back at her to fight, and she just goes, stop. And he pauses mid-strike. So this girl has the power to not only open doors, all the shit we've gotten all these episodes. She has a pet alien. She's super strong herself, can jump off like 150-foot cliffs. And now she can basically mind control synths. It's so bad. It's so bad, dude. She goes, he's just on the network, just like the doors, the cameras. I can make him do what I want. Why are you saying this out loud? We fucking know that. We know these things. He knows that too. Joe Hermitcrab knows you have these powers. And she's like, you're supposed to help people. And like whatever they have Sydney Chandler doing here, I don't understand either. She's supposed to be so like sure of herself. There's no doubt. Why would I like a character with no doubt? I think that's a pretty important thing, but whatever. This is one of the cringe deliveries here on the cringe delivery list. You sound like a child. Ugh. I hate him so much. God. And she's like, it's better than being greedy. Because she's basically saying, like, you know, you were supposed to help people. You shouldn't have shot Nibs last episode, even though she just ripped someone's jaw off. I didn't even kill her. We thought she was possibly dead. She's fine. She's good. Hanging out. Even after her mind wipe, she's still mentally completely gone and highly dangerous, but cool. And the whole point of this scene, by the way, is Wendy confronting him about that, or partly at least confronting him about that, as if we're supposed to be on her side again. Why would we not want Nibs to be? He's like, you sound like a child. At least finally JHC said something that is true. It's better than being greedy. This is such obvious, like, no offense, Gen Z millennial. Again, I am a millennial, so whatever. Power dynamic. I just hear all this shit all the time. It's so contrived. Better than being greedy. People in power. And later on, she flat out says, she's like, you're just a man. You're not a boy. Boys are okay. It's okay to be a boy. But men, if you're a man, you're just a man. That's bad. Ugh, because I've never heard that before. This might as well be Superman 2025. Like, that whole movie was just men are shit, and so was this. He's like, the world is complicated. Yeah, thank you. JHC has said two correct things finally. Nuance. Wendy has no nuance here. This all, again, seems highly irrelevant. These people are just on their own warpath, and whatever actions they commit are okay because it's their moral side and there is no black and white. Just kill at will. Kill at will. Kill at will. And now Wendy tries getting us on the side of the aliens. Like, it doesn't stop. Weirdly self-aware dialogue once again. I'm not Wendy. She's like, I'm not Marcy. And she says this like she's so sure of herself, but the point is obviously she's confused. I'm not Marcy. I'm not Wendy. I'm not this. I'm not that. Agreed. I don't know what I'm watching either. Okay, like, we know this. We know this is all confusing. That doesn't make this scene interesting. But when she says, you know, I like the aliens because they're not greedy and we know what they want. And then when he says it's complicated, don't say it's complicated. That's what powerless people say that's what powerless people say to make doing nothing okay. Like, you just know that writer sat at their computer thinking, they're like, oh man, I'm spinning fucking gold right here. Like, this is some Martin Luther King level shit. That's what powerless people say. So pointing out that there's nuance, pointing out that the world is complicated, the more mature thing is to think that that's what powerless people say to make doing nothing okay. So instead of acting, in your case, killing, ripping off jaws, having a pet alien, stopping and thinking, in his case, shutting down said evil cyborg or evil synth hybrid was the wrong thing to do. Because that's the more mature, because it's all about maturity, right? Neverland, kids, adults. Everything's just black and white. It's amazing to these, again, morally devoid killer robots we're supposed to feel with them. And then cringe action before commercial. Stop doing this. Like, Wendy tips over Adam. It's like, were there network execs like it's the 90s going right before commercial, you know? And if you could you get, because he stopped in his tracks, and this synth doesn't know how to it doesn't have motor control, so if Wendy tips him over, he would fall and then look around and still. And that's literally what happens. We actually then got a close-up of him looking around like, oh, I have no control. Like, is this fucking the worst of Harry Potter? So Boy K is literally skipping through the hallway. Skipping. 30-year-old man. But I guess there's footage of people skipping into that Universal Epic Universe Park recently, who none of them are under 40 and none of them had kids. So, sorry, Disney adults, but I guess that is accurate now. No, I'm also 40, so I can't, but I don't defend it. Pointing it out. Attacking it, actually, actively here. No extra security guard, by the way, for the founder of the company once again. So he's skipping through the hallway. If you want to have him skip, great, because at least you can hopefully kill him as soon as possible. But instead of doing that, once again, at least just have a couple security guards behind him acting arrogantly or whatever the fuck he's doing. And these annoying flashing alien lights, like, oh, remember in Alien? Remember in the first one when the spinning lights? You know what would be cool? If we could also have spinning lights, but now we're having strobe lights. Wow. And this time it's because Wendy is controlling it, because we're supposed to like Wendy. So Zeno shows up, and oh, maybe it'll do something. First it's on the ceiling, and then we see it in front of him. And it does. Hey, guys, it's doing something. It is doing something. Just not what it should do, because should doesn't matter, because there's no morals. It kills more Marines. Instead of killing Boy Cavalier, because now Wendy weirdly wants to kidnap people and hold them in a cell, which was apparently the wrong thing to do. She said that was the wrong thing to do, right? She said it's bad to hold people and test them and treat them essentially not like people, but like objects. And now you've imprisoned people and synths doing the same thing. Just making sure. Again, these close-ups of Wendy's mouth are horrible in this clicking. And you really, again, we're supposed to watch it going like, ooh, she clicks. And then what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen when she clicks. Okay, like, more dummy Marines in the Xeno lab. This is the end of episode 8. I looked at my watch, 6 minutes left. In the end of what is, because at this point you still don't know that, unfortunately, there could be a season 2 of this nonsense. But now we get the plant testicle in action. Drops from the ceiling, wraps around your body, and then holds you in place. Yeah, okay. Kind of reminded me of like Batman type action, like if Batman was an evil supernatural, like the way in Arkham he'll just drop in, drag you up, and the guy's like, ah! Except it envelops you and sucks the life out of you, it seems. Cool. Would have been nice to get, I don't know, 4 episodes ago, like I keep fucking saying here, but that's fine. So New Zealand hybrid then turns around in an action scene that we've seen. This is, again, where the show is just AI. It's like, the second he turns around, we get a close-up, bam, she knocks him out. It's like, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I should let that go. But since the rest of the show is trash, I'm so sensitive at this point. Now we're on the beach with our washed-up, low sperm count. Who cares about this person? But then, again, if the top stupid thing list wasn't high enough, the eyeball ends up. That, again, Wendy, for whatever reason, didn't kill. And this is Wendy's fault, literally, at this point. What we're about to see here, zombie low sperm count, is because Wendy couldn't just... What I'm doing under the camera is stomping. Step. Really just stepping. If you step on an eyeball, probably is going to do a lot of damage to it. I know this thing is supernatural, but she's also super powered. And if the super robot fights a super alien, especially in as simple as a moment as stepping on it. Also, we saw that when she hit it, between the time that she hit it, it kind of got knocked out, right? Because it didn't move between getting hit and then soccer kicked, when she was bending it like Beckham. And now this thing has gotten all the way out to a beach, by the way, which I guess I could let go of that. But you have low sperm count zombie eyeball. Of all the characters, what the fuck is this show, dude? And again, with exactly 6 minutes ago in our final episode, now Yutani. I forgot Yutani was on her way. That's how bad this show is. Now Yutani arrives on the island. 2 episodes ago, if not 3 at this point, because I remember I kept repeating last episode how it was either 2 episodes, end of episode 5. So 3 episodes ago, we were supposed to get a raid. Now the raid is occurring as the season finale's ending, kids. So in the holding cell, oh, by the way, New Zealand girl actually used the term rounding up. She's like, we're rounding up all the adults. You're rounding them up. That seems like problematic language. From people who use terms like problematic language a lot. Think about the term rounding them up. So because they're adults, because they're men, because they're in power, because they're smarter and more experienced than you, they're not good people, but rounding them up. You can conclude that. In this holding cell, after they've been rounded up, so she's like, we didn't, I'm sorry for what you did. Dame Sylvia says this, to Wendy. And she's like, you're not sorry, Mom. All you did was put 6 children in the ground. And she says it again. She's so sure of herself. Like, if she doesn't have her arms behind her back and walking up straight, she might as well be doing that. You know what I'm saying? She's like, all you did was put 6 children in the ground. No doubt about any of my actions right now. It's like, you were already in the ground. That sounds harsh, but you were already dying. No one put you in the ground. No one murdered you. If you are dying, it's hard to kill someone, right? And they didn't even expedite. I guess you could argue they expedited, but no. Saying you put kids in the ground. And that's also what confused me about that graveyard. Why are we conflating the idea of these kids dying with, is that supposed to be what the interesting back and forth is like? Meaning it's like what is philosophically interesting is not that they are previously dead. It's that, are they human now? The death thing is pretty clear, I'd say. I mean, it's not worth revisiting, but it's not worth revisiting at a fake fucking graveyard. So stupid. And this is when she's going after Boy Cavalier. I'll try not to be soapboxy again, but you were never a little boy. I was thinking about it because I can think now, right? Not like I was super smart before, but now I am. And, in Peter Pan, you were never a little boy. You've always been a man, an angry, bitter little man. No, he wasn't. At one point, he was a boy just because he was a genius. Is this what again, morally supposed to agree with is someone who thinks that everyone is, the people who are evil were born evil. So it's like, pick whoever you think a bad guy is in real life. You think when that guy was born, he didn't have a childhood? As ugly as his actions may or may not have been after that, everyone had a childhood. And the fact that they just go like, man, you say man bad, we're good. Okay, that's clever. And also, by the way, the females on the show haven't done anything wrong. You have one of them imprisoned right over there. Why not just, you were a man and then look to her, and you were always a woman. You were never a little girl. No, because we have to somehow go after gender, and arguably they're genderless too at this point because they don't have genitals because they're dead. That's cool. So Slightly in New Zealand show up. Like, again, this is where she has like these mob soldiers. Is that none of them are questioning any of this? None of them are even rolling their eyes like, I don't feel like it, or I'm interested in whatever pops into my super genius, powerful brain at any point. Talk about ADHD. Children hybrids could just be like, okay, I want to learn the violin. Fuck you guys. And if anyone tries to stop me from learning the violin, I will smash you in the face. And you could have like literally a fight that crazy and erratic with how crazy and erratic they are. And powerful, right? You just combine the erraticism, if that's the word, with their power, and you got some problems. But instead, they all just follow Wendy. Like, it's just blindly following this morally awful character at this point. So her soldiers walk in behind her all fucking tough, because this is an episode of The Sopranos at this point. And again, this is like what an 8-year-old thinks is cool. It's like, if my niece was like, hey, come play with me, Uncle Benny. Okay, Uncle Benny, you're going to be my muscle guy. You're going to be my soldier. And you're going to walk up behind me to my 12-year-old older brother. And as you walk in, and she's 8 and adorable and I love her. So to me, it's like, aw. But I can't awe adults who think that this shit looks tough. And I, again, am supposed to care about her. And they were like, well, what do we do now? Because we have no thoughts of our own. Once again, literally they say, what do we do now? She goes, now? Now we rule. Dude, stop it. And then Pearl Jam just starts playing. Five against one, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against. I mean, the best part of this episode was Pearl Jam playing. I like that song, but the fuck? And I know what the lyrics are supposed to, just something about an animal. It's like, shut the fuck up. So Wendy and Boy K then just start smiling. Like, Wendy's like, oh, now we rule. It's like, the island is about to get raided by super soldiers from Aliens, the second movie. And when they went to credits at this point, I was like, oh, no anthology. No anthology. We have to sit through another season of this island getting raided, and probably somehow they're going to stretch, nothing is going to happen. Like, I think the first 2 episodes are going to be Yutani on her way to the island. Then we're going to have to wait until episode 3 to see the raid, and then in the raid, it's going to be while they're raiding, right? We're only going to get the POV of the people in the cell just talking about how awful they are for being men and human. Because being a human, being a man is evil. We're supposed to be misanthropic, nihilistic. What's the word to hate men? Misandry. It's that. It's like, and you're the one saying it. This isn't a stretch to say that. So final thoughts and recommends. If I haven't said it before, I wouldn't recommend my worst enemy to watch this fucking show. Like, and it's not so bad that it's good. By the finale, I can finally say, like, Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles are, again, so bad that it's good. I can't believe where this ends, like I said. More nonsense that we have to sit through with these same stupid characters. If you had done the anthology thing, at least you can bounce around and be like, all right, one shitty season. I don't want to say any of Fargo had shitty seasons, but like that season 4, almost everyone agrees the Chris Rock season, take it or leave it, but at least it doesn't affect by nature, anthologically, it's like whatever, if that's a word, the next season or any other season. It doesn't spoil the well for everybody else. Instead, for this, and if you are anthology, that's where you're leaving it. Is what happens. So there's no way we're not going to get a season 2. The problem is with how bad this is. Let's be realistic about production. Another $250 million for this trash. Like, I'm sorry, a lot of what I'm talking about here is not just opinion based, quality wise. If you know the most basic shit about screenwriting or anything that's not boring, I don't see how you're missing so many objective problems with this show. Like, especially with the killing side of it. Whatever your fucking power position is, like, she is blindly killing people. I don't understand this. So we're to get another season of characters that I don't know how I'm supposed to care with them, and that's the biggest sin of this show. Like, and as I said last episode, this is easily, and as I said at the beginning of this episode, the worst Alien. And now I think I will now submit it's the worst we'll probably ever get. Like, that is unless we get another season of this shit. I don't know what else to say. I think the more I say, the less I will say. So less is more, because they have dug themselves into a serious fucking, like, I guess I say this a lot on the show and it's false, so maybe I shouldn't say that this is the last thing I'll say. But the positive thing I'll leave you with is this. All the rewatching and re-listening I've done, audio dramas, to those audio dramas that I talked about before, I'm going to finish those audio dramas. I was listening to them for homework for this. I will still complete what I haven't finished because I like Alien. I love Alien. I'm going to continue my rewatch, and I have a book that I got. It's called The Book of Aliens, behind the scenes of the first one. My point is that I'm not going to let this ruin Alien for me, but if you're someone who, like, really, if you're a continuity person, I really feel bad for you. Like, if you love this franchise as much as I do, and I know there's like mega super fans. I'm not even a super fan. I'm definitely a fan. I'd say a big fan. I'm not a super fan. If I was a super fan, like my co-host Eli on the Above and Batman Beyond show, he is all about, he loves continuity. Like, that, he's a big continuity guy, admittedly, self-proclaimed continuity guy. He would be like devastated. Like, it, you know, meaning if he was also a super fan of this, you get my point, because it is so contaminated if you worry about that kind of shit. And I just will not. Like, I refuse to, because as annoyed as I am, mostly honestly for the cost of this, that's really the biggest sin here. I mean, if production was such that, not that I want to see movies like this, but let's say, you know, like 15, 20 years from now, where you could just snap your fingers into Chat GPT and you have a shitty Alien show, who loses out, really? I mean, beside the obviously potential actors and all the questionable shit you do there of humans, but I think you get my point. It's like, all right, well, no one had to go to Thailand, and people didn't have to waste their time doing this. Like, you didn't have to bother humans with your awful show. At least it was just the blink of an AI eye. And in this case, you actually had to waste the time of humans, including the guy who just had to review your fucking show. So I can't not recommend this show enough. And the best part of this episode is to know that we've already moved on to Tulsa King, season 3, episode 1, and I loved it. I didn't love everything about it, but if you want to see me not be a complete negative Nancy, as they say on South Park, but again, I don't take the blame here because I didn't write the fucking show. I do love Alien, and I will say too, if it comes back, yes, I will review it on this show, because I can't take more of, I can't get enough of their abuse over and over. And it'll be fascinating to see this trash. Like, how are you going to write your way out of it? And imagine if they do. Like, I'm not getting my hopes up remotely. Don't think that I am. But I guess on a positive note, maybe they will somehow write their way out of, no. It'll be at least entertaining to see them try. That'll be fun. All right, and that is the show. If you haven't already, smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications for future streams of Too Many Shows, subscribe and follow the pod. Again, that's Too Many Shows, a TV podcast. Any kind of super donation here on the stream or on any of our videos is much appreciated. Again, starting this past Monday, Tulsa King, streaming every Tuesday, streaming every Monday, 2 p.m. EST for the rest of Season 3. So again, every Monday, 2 p.m. EST for the rest of Season 3. And finally, if you want to support us and all the other shows on our network, then head on over to Patreon. That's patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. Early access to pods and vids, exclusive pods and vids you can only find there. Detailed episode notes for each podcast, which, by the way, since this is the last of Alien Earth, totally worth pointing out here in the show. I do like sometimes 15 pages of, it is bullet pointed and in bold. It's a lot of notes is my point. So if you haven't yet seen, those are only for our patrons, exclusive to the Patreon. Definitely check those out for Alien Earth. Again, detailed episode notes for each episode. Patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. So this has been Ben.